I see people come to my office and they're a little discouraged or they're not sure that they can do it. And so it's kind of, you get to kind of encourage them and kind of understand where they're at and know that it's hard and know that, you do a lot of things you don't get paid for. So yeah, it's definitely, it helps me kind of understand where they're at in life.
Let's say somebody's on the fence, right? Let's say they're a self-preparer, right? Mm-hmm. What's your best appeal to that person? And maybe that person is capable of doing their own taxes, but what would the benefit of working with somebody like yourself be for that person?
How I explain it to people is you might get the same answer that I got. You might get the same number, and then they might look at me and say, well, why do I need you? and my answer to that is they don't know the next thing. They don't know the question to ask because they don't know that they should be asking that. I find the best client for me is somebody who feels like they need some help. They have some kind of complicating situation that they understand that they need an accountant, and then I don't have to convince them that they do. So that makes my job easier.
Hey guys, welcome back to More Than a Mortgage, a podcast where we get to the opportunity to meet amazing people in our industry. I'm your host, Gavin Sessions, and today I've got the pleasure of having a conversation with Kristie Brackett. She's an enrolled agent, which is not a CPA, but she's a tax professional. And I'm sure she's going to explain to us what that means. I'm looking forward to learning from her. It's really valuable to have somebody like this on the podcast because they are very, very specialized. And so many of us might have maybe the flawed perspective of saying, hey, we can do our taxes ourselves. We don't need someone to help us. But I think the reality is we all have a ton to learn, myself included. And so I'm looking forward to this conversation with Kristie today about that, but also excited to hear her story as well. From what I know of it, she's moved around the country and she's a big college football fan. So stick with us. She's got a great story to share and we're all going to learn something today. Kristie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Absolutely. Looking forward to chatting with you today. We first got connected, it's been several years, right?
Over a year, I think.
Yeah. You visited our BNI chapter, I think is probably how that happened.
I think you visited mine.
Oh, I visited yours. Yeah. Where's yours?
Treasure Valley Accelerators.
Okay. And
on Overland at the church.
Yeah. Emily Green.
Yeah.
Yes. I visited it once, I believe, but I do think we may have met prior to that.
I visited, so when your group was first forming, I visited there.
Okay.
But I don't even know if I remembered you. I don't know if you remembered me going to that or not, but possibly.
BNI is a good fraternity.
I know. It's great.
Yeah. And I'm not in it anymore. Full confession.
I know.
But it was great while it was lasted. And I think we accomplished what we set out to accomplish. So
that's good.
Yeah. So anyway, we met through BNI. Mm-hmm. And how long have you been in this industry?
I am starting my 7th tax season.
Okay. So that's a great amount of time. Mm-hmm. Plenty of time to say you're experienced, but maybe not so much time to say that you're totally burned out.
Yeah. I think so. I don't think I'm burned out yet. So I think it's still something I enjoy doing at least. So that's good.
Yeah, and we're recording this conversation on December 1st, and that was me kind of hopeful that we could get you on the calendar and into the studio before tax season got ripping and rolling and before really, I guess a lot of us kind of take time off for Christmas and things like that, right? So
yeah, worked out good.
Good. Are you got some time off planned for the holidays, I hope, before you?
We're going home to visit my family.
Okay.
My husband and I. Since the kids are older, they're kind of doing their own thing. But yes, we're leaving Christmas night to fly to Michigan to visit my family.
Okay. Are you from Michigan? Mm-hmm. Well, tell us about that. What part of Michigan?
Central Michigan, a suburb of Flint. So just a really basic middle class family and town and stuff. So yeah, but I love Michigan. I loved growing up there with the lakes and the water and stuff like that.
So born and raised in Michigan.
Yep.
And then how long did you live there?
I left when I was 19.
Okay.
I moved to Virginia to go to a small Christian college, and I never went back home. So I met my husband, and he was from the South. So I was like, started in Virginia, North Carolina, South. I was like, okay, no further south. This is far enough for me. I never.
Your phone number is 843, right?
Yeah,
which
South
is
Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I lived there almost 18 years.
Long time. Mm-hmm. Very long time. Okay, so met your husband in Christian college in Virginia. Mm-hmm. What school was that?
It was just a small church college in Virginia. So.
Okay. Was it a 4-year school or a?
Yeah. I only got my associate degree there, and he was going to a different college, but his family was from the area. So we met there and got married like a year later. So
nice. Is that you guys are pretty young then, I would assume.
Yeah, we were. We've been married almost 25 years this year. We'll be 25. So
way to go. Early start.
I was 21, so I wasn't super young, but I guess young for not this time.
It depends, right? It kind of depends on the subculture that you're living in. I feel like I grew up in the Seattle area and we got married at almost 26 and that didn't feel old.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we maybe got exposed to people getting married towards the early 20s and we were like, whoa, that's really young. But
Yeah.
we rewind several hundred years or something like that, right? People got married.
My husband's several years older than me too, so it kind of it's a little bit different. He's 7 years older, so
all good.
Yeah.
Okay, so met in Virginia, and he was at a different school.
Yeah.
How did you guys end up in North Carolina and then ultimately in South Carolina?
He was his family. He had lived in North Carolina and South Carolina also. He's kind of from all three areas, and we ended up serving in a church in South Carolina right after he went to graduated Bible college because he's a pastor. And then our first church that he pastored was in Summerville, South Carolina. Okay. So we lived there about 5 years.
And forgive me on my geography. Where is Summerville?
Near Charleston.
Near Charleston?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which we loved living there. That's like one of my favorite places we've lived. Yeah, we loved Charleston. It was a really great area. But we got there in 2006. So it was good for a couple of years, but it did get really hard there with the economy and everything. So it was a little bit of a difficult time at our first church that he was at. So
okay. So into that market in 2006, and you guys were there for 18 years?
No, we were there about 5 years, and then we lived in Columbia a few years. We lived in Summerville, then we went back to Columbia. Columbia's like in the central part.
Yeah, and that's where University of South Carolina is. Okay. USC of the South.
They say the original USC, but my husband's a Clemson fan, so he's not a really big fan of.
And that's more like Greenville area.
Yeah, upstate.
Yeah. I've been to South Carolina once or twice. The crazy thing is I've had 3 siblings live in Charleston.
Oh, really?
And I've never went to visit any of them.
Yes, you have to.
I've got one lives there right now.
Oh, you need to go. It's one of the best places. It's a beautiful city.
Why?
Historic, all the historic houses and just the really old buildings and just all the history and stuff. Yeah, it's really neat.
You're not the first person to say that. We actually we're thinking about heading out there on spring break. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, that's a good time to go. It'll be busy, but it's good.
We usually end up in Phoenix on spring break, but we figured we might go visit my younger brother, and they've got another baby on the way, and we've got a nephew down there. So
yeah, you need to. It's worth the trip.
Noted.
I can give you some recommendations of things to do.
Awesome. Okay.
We felt like tour guides when we lived there because we always take our family downtown, and yeah, it's fun.
Cool. All right. So grew up in Michigan, migrated to the South, lived a lot of your life there.
Yes.
And now here we are in Boise, Idaho. Yeah. And you've been for here in kind of the Treasure Valley Mountain Home area for how long?
Almost 8 years.
Okay. What brought you guys out here?
Well, after our time in Summerville, he left that church and decided that we would spend a few years kind of traveling and helping other smaller churches because we had been through a lot and kind of knew the challenges of pastoring can be kind of isolating because sometimes you're away from your family and things like that. So we had an RV and we traveled all over the country for about 5 years and spent a lot of time out west, a lot of the western states, because we really wanted to get outside of like our bubble too of, the Bible Belt is a real thing. There's churches on every corner. But out here, it's much more isolating even so than there. So we spent a lot of time in Idaho and some other states that a lot of people don't really go to. We didn't really know much about Idaho, but ever since we started coming here, we actually really liked it. People would ask, what's your favorite state that you get to go to? And I mean, we've been to Colorado. We've been to all of these really beautiful states, but we often said Idaho. It was kind of surprising state to visit and really enjoyed it here. But several years after we had been traveling, and we'd kind of started staying more in South Carolina, let the kids kind of get settled in sports and stuff like that. Traveling was hard as they became teenagers and stuff. So, but my husband was talking to a friend of ours who pastored in Nampa, and he mentioned that there was a church in Mountain Home that was open. And so while they were having their conversation, he got on their website and sent off an email with his information and things, never really thinking he'd hear back from them. But they called him the next day, and he said, well, hold on a minute. I haven't even mentioned this to my wife yet.
Nice.
So he gets home, and he's like, are you interested in moving to Idaho? And I didn't even hesitate. I was like, yes. I'm totally for that. Let's see if this works out. So yeah, it all worked out, and we, a few months later, moved to Idaho.
All right. So let's rewind just a little bit. So you guys, your husband, full-time ministry, vocational ministry is probably the right way to say it, right?
Well, he's always had a second job.
Okay.
Though. Yeah. He's never been, full-time.
Okay. So some sort of season in ministry led you guys to have some freedom to be able to travel for a handful of years, it sounds like.
Yeah.
What was that story? Like what happened?
He traveled, and he would do special meetings at different churches, and we kind of just built a list of churches that we visited almost yearly and have special meetings. And so, and then the times that we were over, holidays or different things like that, where we were home, he had different contractors and people that he worked for when he would go back home. So,
okay. Yeah. So then he wasn't a lead pastor of a specific congregation at that point. No. Got it.
More like an evangelist ministry is what we were doing at that time.
Okay. Yeah. Did you guys, how long were you in your camper or your RV from time to time?
About 4 years.
Full time? Mm-hmm. How often would you head home?
So we would take different trips out, but like when we came out west, we would come for like 3 to 6 months each year.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Nice. Did you guys ever find yourselves in the northern part of the country in the winter?
We were pretty smart about the scheduling. We ended up in Florida usually in February. That was our favorite month to go to Florida. So yeah, we made sure we were out of all the bad weather before it got too bad.
Yeah, those things really aren't built for the winter.
Yeah. No.
We have a camper. We love it. And we always try to make it a 4-season rig. And we're very careful to not get ourselves into too cold of weather. But we're the family that will take it to McCall in the winter. And we're watching the forecasts, right? And we've never had a problem. I mean, we've had a couple of freezes here and there, but
just leave the water dripping a little bit.
Yeah, never anything broken, and just, maybe just a little bit of an adventure or frustration. Mm-hmm. But yes, we've often thought about there's a spot in McCall that's open all year round called McCall RV Resort. Mm-hmm. We've thought about, I wonder if we took our camper up there and skirted it and left it for the season. You could go up as much as you want, for 3 months or whatever it is. And, but just the challenge of trying to keep it dehumidified and not frozen. And they just really, I don't think they're meant for cold weather.
Yeah. Yeah. They definitely do better in warm weather. So we were very rarely in any cold weather. We had one ice storm. I think we were in North Carolina one time. That was a little bad, but nothing too major.
Cool.
Yeah.
What do you think about RV life?
It really gave us a lot of opportunity to travel and see a lot of stuff that let our kids really experience a lot of stuff that they never would have.
And how old were your kids at the time?
I think they were like 7 and 9 when we started, I think.
So pretty young.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of them really liked the travel. The other one still hates the travel. So I think we kind of scarred him for life on that. But yeah, we went to like any national park we were near or historic sites or just visited the, cities and different things that we could. So it was really interesting.
Cool.
And homeschooled them along the way.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of layout did you guys have in your RV?
We had like a bunk room in the back, and then our room was in the front, and then like the open kitchen area.
Yeah.
So.
Fifth wheel or bumper pull?
Bumper pull.
Okay.
It's like 32 feet, I think. I can't remember. But yeah, it was several slide outs. So
fond memories though? Yeah.
We had our dog too, so kind of made it like home. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I think so. It was an interesting time, but I wouldn't want to do it again probably, but for that time it was a good time for us, I think, as a family too.
You guys were on the cutting edge because that was well before a lot of people hit the road because of COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys had already done that, been there, done that.
Yes, exactly. I know. I see people like, doing it intentionally afterwards. And yeah, it's a different lifestyle. I don't think it's for everybody. And as the kids got older, it got harder and harder because they wanted to be involved in things, youth group activities and camps and stuff.
Sure.
And so, yeah, we decided for their sake to not. For a little while, I stayed home with the kids, but then he went on a couple trips by himself, and he's like, "No, this isn't fun when you guys aren't here, and it's just him by himself." So, yeah, he kind of got the idea to go back into pastoring after several years of doing that. So
cool. So it was a fun season.
It was, yeah.
Probably awesome memories.
And we wouldn't be out here if not for that because
it's true.
We didn't know anything about Idaho. So.
So your tours, you hit so many states, right? How many states do you guys think you hit?
I don't know exactly how many states we went. We pretty much went to every state in the interior, and then we never got to Washington, Oregon, or California, and we never went to New England, but like almost everything in between. I personally have been to 48 states, so I'm missing 2.
What are the 2?
Alaska, which we're going to for our 25th anniversary next year.
Oh, cool.
And North Dakota. We never made it to North Dakota, so I have to find some reason to go there.
Yeah, North Dakota and Michigan are not super close, but they're also not super far.
I know. I tried to talk my husband into doing a road trip to go like through North Dakota and Minnesota, but he said that's a really long way to try.
Not this time of year.
No, definitely not.
Do you guys still have a camper?
No, we don't right now, but
Do you miss it?
yeah, I think I'd like to get one, but like a small one that's kind of easy to maneuver and stuff. But then like when we had the kids, then like they had to do all of the camper things and stuff like that. So that was a little more helpful. But now we'd have to do it all ourselves. So yeah.
Cool. All right. So that was awesome. Little story about where you've come from and kind of the journey. And you're from Michigan. And you guys are heading back there for the holidays.
Yeah.
Nice. When do you head back?
We leave Christmas night.
Oh, you said that.
Yeah.
Okay. And there for like a week or?
Yeah, we'll be there, I think, till the 2nd, January 2nd. Yeah.
Nice. How do you feel about Michigan sports at this point?
I'm a huge sports fan. I love sports.
So tell me more.
University of Michigan, that's like, it was a rough weekend.
No, it wasn't.
You're not an Ohio State fan, are you?
No, I'm not.
This is not fun.
No, I'm not an Ohio State fan. I was rooting for Ohio State this weekend. Probably for the first time in my life. I've got a bitter pill to swallow. I do not like Michigan anymore. And
You're from Washington?
From Washington, yes. And so the
like
shenanigans with the sign stealing and then the fact that it happened in the season that we lost the Natty. I don't think there can be a time that I could root for Michigan again.
We should have that was overblown.
Okay. Let's have a conversation about that. Maybe I can be redeemed. I
can convince you.
We'll see. I was rooting for Ohio State this weekend, so I'm sorry for you who are rooting for Michigan.
We had several in a row, and it's fine.
Yeah, like 2,191 days, I think is specific.
It was a lot of days. Last year was pretty surprising, so I was happy to have that one, so I'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, last year was an anomaly that Ohio State went on to win the national championship even after losing that game.
Yeah.
Which was
really surprising because we were terrible.
Yes. I mean, both Washington and Michigan have been on the rebuild since they both had the rosters gutted.
And their coaches.
And the coaches gone after the 23 national championship run.
Yeah.
Freaking college football.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah. But yeah, we as a family, we all love college football. So
you've been to the big house, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's been a long time. Not since I left home. But we have, even with our traveling and stuff, sporting events, we really like to go to different sporting events. We've been to Notre Dame.
Oh, that's cool.
My husband's a Clemson fan, so when they played, flew to Chicago and went to see that. My son is inexplicably an Alabama fan, so we had to take him there.
Wait, he's from the South, kind of, right? Where was he born?
South Carolina.
I've never lived in the South, so you have to tell me. Doesn't Alabama kind of infect a lot of the South?
Only people who really want the really good team. Like, he liked the really good teams.
So he's like cheering for the winners.
Yes, exactly. That's what we say. Yeah, he had a lot of options between the two of us, and he chose Alabama. But
he's still a Tide fan then?
Mm-hmm. So the year that Michigan won the championship, I took him to the Rose Bowl when Michigan played Alabama.
That was a heck of a game.
That was one of the best games I've. Yeah, so we got to see that in person. So that was really fun for the two of us. Yeah, he's a good sport when his team didn't win, but it was good.
That's the second Rose Bowl reference on this podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got to go to the Rose Bowl in 2019 when Washington played Ohio State.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Didn't go well. We lost. We haven't been back to the Rose Bowl since, and now the Rose Bowl's kind of
I know it's not the same.
Reconfigured to be it's a playoff game now, and so it's it's no longer. Well, the Pac-12 no longer exists, or the Pac-10.
No,
right? So
yeah, I think last year we were kind of thinking about going out to Washington when Michigan played. One of these years we're going to get over there, and then to Oregon too when they play out there too.
Yeah, I mean, Washington beat Michigan at home last year, and then returned the favor. Michigan returned the favor here this year in the Big House. So
yeah,
mediocre teams don't play well on the road.
Yeah, Yeah, we lost all of our road games this year. Well, the big ones, USC and stuff.
Yeah, it's tough to play on the road. I think NFL teams have gotten better at it, but a lot of college teams really struggle on the road for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So big football fan. Love that. Clemson had an awesome run for your husband for a while.
Yeah. He's been a little frustrated the last couple of years.
He's still a Dabo loyalty guy. Loves him.
Yeah.
You think they can pull it out? And
He thinks so.
okay. I'll have to have a conversation with him. You have to introduce me to him about.
Yeah. He's
It'd be fun to talk ball.
Yes, he's definitely, he follows like all of the, we have this guy coming and that guy is going to.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. College football is my favorite sport of
Really?
anything.
Yeah, ours too. I laughed at him because Clemson had never really been good. And it was always like, okay, this is the year. And it was a lot of years of that. My family made fun of him because, we were in Michigan and they never really won anything. And so the year that they went undefeated, I think the first championship they were undefeated. And it was just like, they did it finally. And we, I think their second championship, we had already been out here. I think it was 2018 season, 2019, January, that they were playing the championship game in Santa Clara, the Levi Stadium.
Yeah.
And they were playing Alabama. So we went as a family.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So my son got to go to that game too, and his team lost that one also. So if your team's playing in a big game and they're playing Alabama, you can take him. We joke with him that Alabama loses when he goes and watches them.
That's good to know. Yeah. We'll have to stay in touch about that if it ever happens again.
Feel free.
It'll be my good luck charm.
Yeah, exactly. No, but that was it was a fun experience, though, to go and get to watch his team.
That's awesome.
Championship, yeah.
You guys have seen some amazing games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
National championships, Rose Bowls, at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
All right. How old are your kids now?
23 and 21.
Okay. Boy and a girl?
Yep. My daughter's 23.
Okay.
Yes. She works for us in our Boise office.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Kind of fun. I don't know if it's going to be something she's going to do permanently, but for now.
Is she picking it up? And
she is. She's doing really well with it. But she has her degree in wildlife biology, so this is not exactly
perfect translation of tax.
something that she was wanting to do with her life.
Yeah.
But with the way things in the government have been this last year since she graduated and things, it's not really a good time to be in wildlife biology with government contracts and stuff being their main jobs. But so I was like, well, you can do this to actually make some money for a little while. So
nice.
She enjoys it to some extent, but yeah, she still has dreams of doing other stuff, I think, but we'll see if I can convince her to continue on.
Maybe. How about your son? What's he up to?
He kind of went to a trade school. He didn't finish to become an electrician, but he kind of started that route and has a job. He travels and repairs operating room equipment, which is also my husband's second job.
Oh.
He does that as well. So he kind of got into that through my husband.
So both kids have kind of followed their parents' footsteps a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your husband doing full-time now then? Is he?
Yeah, he's doing
pastoring?
Yeah, he pastors and he works full-time traveling, repairing operating room equipment and doing that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So he's kind of got a varied schedule. He flies two times a month, probably most months, all over the place. So
for his side hustle or for, okay.
Yeah.
Is he preaching most Sundays?
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably 48, 50 weeks a year or something like that?
At least. Yeah. He keeps his church schedule very busy too, even though he works. Yeah. Sometimes I tell him 2 services every Sunday and twice a month he teaches a 2-hour class and it's just too much. But yeah, he loves it. So he's even though he works full time, he tries to make sure he spends a lot of time, with the church and making sure everything is right. Because sometimes he feels guilty that he's gone during the weeks and stuff like that. So
he's working a full-time job during the week and then pastoring is more of a side hustle then at this point?
I mean, I wouldn't say it that way. It's still his main focus.
But it's not his primary income.
No.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's the kind of the goal for me to help him retire from his secular job. And so he can do that full time eventually.
So he wants to be full-time ministry where he's not having to do a full-time side gig.
Yeah. It's hard in smaller churches to be able to, especially nowadays, to afford a full-time pastor. It's very few smaller churches can do that now. So
Well, the willingness to do what he's doing is pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. It's hard on him.
It's a high calling, probably hard on your family too.
Yeah, it is. He's done it so long now that, we just kind of know what to expect, and it's just kind of second nature to us. It'd almost be strange if he wasn't working all the time. So
I suppose, yeah.
I don't know how I think he would do something small on the side just because he likes to work. So
likes to have purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are now part of Paramount Tax and Accounting. Is that the company you've been with for the last 6 or 7 or 8 years, or however long you've been in this industry?
No, I didn't start
Okay.
with them. When I was looking to go back into the workforce as my kids were getting older and living in a smaller town, and actually tax accounting wasn't something I was already doing or had done before. So I had spent about a year applying at like anything I could think of in town. I kind of started going in the banking and finance direction when I first went to college. So I applied at every bank and had all these interviews, but nobody hired me.
Oh.
So I was like, okay. And a little discouraged. And eventually I got a seasonal job as a receptionist at H&R Block.
Okay.
And I was a little hesitant at first because, it's just seasonal, but I just really decided to embrace it and see what, I could learn and what opportunities I might have. I just had the idea that, you never know what can happen with this. So I'll just try this out and see what happens. And I think I was there about 2 weeks, and one of the accountants looked at me, and we're just having a conversation, and she said, "You should be doing what I'm doing." Oh. And I'm just really surprised because I never really thought about doing that before. And she was one of the top ones in the whole district and really brilliant. And I was just shocked that she thought that I could do that. And so she gave me the steps. These are the things you need to study. I'll help you learn how to prepare tax returns by hand because that's the hardest way, and that'll make you better. So I spent all the time that she told me to. I studied everything she told me to. I listened and just learned everything I could from her and watched her. And about a month later, I passed all the tests to start preparing tax returns and spent a couple years there really learning under her and using that opportunity. And then decided to go back to school because I was trying to turn it into something I could do more year-round than just seasonally. So I thought maybe I would be interested in doing bookkeeping or something. So I went and got an associate in accounting and bookkeeping at CWI.
Okay.
And really enjoyed a lot of what I learned through that and just how to run a business and taking a lot of business management classes and things like that. And through that process, I decided to, because I was a little bit older in life, I didn't feel like I wanted to invest the time to become a CPA and do all of that. So I decided to get my enrolled agent license at that point. And that just requires you to pass a series of tests through the IRS and gives you all of the authority to represent your clients through the IRS. So we really focus and specialize in taxation, tax preparation, tax planning, and representing our clients to the IRS. So that was really what I wanted to do. So that's the path I chose. And I spent 4 seasons at H&R Block. And then one of my former colleagues had already started. Paramount is a franchise, and she started the one in Idaho about 2 years before I joined her. And she had always we stayed in communication, and she said that she wanted me to join her when I was ready. And I was waiting until I was finishing the schooling that I wanted to do and getting my license and things like that. And about 2.5 years ago, I called her after tax season and said, okay, I think I'm ready. And she offered me a partnership, which I kind of only thought I was getting a job. So that was a bit surprising, but I've enjoyed getting to help build this with her. And so it's my 3rd tax season with Paramount. So
awesome. Well, I think you're probably so much better equipped as a business owner or a partner in a business than you would be if you were just an employee to be able to help self-employed people, right?
Yeah, definitely. You can kind of feel the struggle of building something. And I see people come to my office and they're a little discouraged or they're not sure that they can do it. And So it's kind of, you get to kind of encourage them and kind of understand where they're at and know that it's hard and know that, you do a lot of things you don't get paid for. And, it takes a lot of time to become profitable or to really be able to get out of it what you are putting into it. So yeah, it's definitely, it helps me kind of understand where they're at in life.
Yeah, 100%. Mm-hmm. It's like you've experienced it or you're actively experiencing it. It just makes you that much more empathetic and that much more helpful to your clients. So that's awesome. You explained enrolled agent, which I think most of us probably know as an EA, right? I think is the term that probably the public would know. But I think that the public also just assumes that every tax person is a CPA, right?
They do. Yes.
So maybe take a second and help us explain the difference between a CPA and an enrolled agent. Or
a CPA is a state license, so every state has different requirements. It requires more education, usually a master's degree. Sometimes working under an experienced CPA, and then a series of rigorous tests to become a CPA. But they also they have to learn a broad areas of accounting. There's more than just taxation. There's financial statements. There's auditing, different things like that. So they have to learn a whole range of accounting principles, and an EA only focuses on taxation part. So they're more of a tax specialist, where CPAs are great and some focus on tax, but others might do other things. But the general public, they will just say, I need a CPA. And so I can usually fulfill what they need, even though I never claim to be a CPA. I always make sure that they understand I'm an enrolled agent, but I'm experienced and I can help you with what you need.
Yeah, so the general public thinking they need a CPA, sometimes they might, right? Mm-hmm. I guess it depends on the situation.
Yeah, if they need their books audited, which is very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if someone's looking for tax planning or tax preparation or tax strategy, an EA like yourself is a perfectly great resource for them.
Yes, yes.
But if they need help with like corporate financial statements.
Yes, that's not me.
That's not you.
No.
Okay.
I can recommend a good CPA for you to see to do that. But yeah.
Got it.
That's not what I focus on.
There are a lot of CPAs that would focus more on the non-taxation side of things, would you say? Is that why they...
More like corporate. If you're going to do like public accounting, they usually are doing taxation.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of corporate accountants or bigger companies that hire a CPA to deal with their financial statements. A lot of smaller businesses, they might say they need a CPA too to do their bookkeeping and something like that, but they don't. They just need an experienced bookkeeper.
Got it. Cool. Well, I'm a small business owner, kind of jumping into this as well fairly recently. I mean, not from a mortgage standpoint, but just the structure of my business has changed. And so I'm certainly learning a lot, and I really appreciate our conversations we've had over the last few months, and I guess upwards to a year. So I'm excited to work with you and learn through this as well. So what are you looking forward to most about this coming tax season, if that's possible? If there's anything to look forward to.
At this point in the year, I just start getting overwhelmed with all the new stuff. I mean, this year especially, there was, the new law passed and it had a lot of changes, which I find changes to tax law really interesting, and I like to learn about the new things, but it also leaves a lot of uncertainty, especially right now, because the IRS was closed for like a month and a half or something. Yeah. So that was really important time for them to prepare they have to prepare all new tax schedules and forms and things every year. They have to do it, and especially this year. And I think there's 2 brand new forms that have never even, more than 2 actually, that have never even been out. So they're really behind on doing all that. And plus I've been just trying to call on behalf of a couple of clients and still haven't been able to get through in like 2 months. So it's a little frustrating, but so there's just a lot of changes this year. So it's a little bit kind of waiting to see how it's going to go. But yeah, I enjoy tax time. It's really the only time of year I talk to all of my clients, and I'm constantly talking to my clients at that time of year. So I really enjoy that part of it.
What are without getting super exhaustive, what are the 2 or 3 big changes that as consumers we're not even aware of that we should know?
If you bought a new car in 2025, you're going to get a different statement. Like you get your 1098 for your mortgage, you're going to get one for your car.
Really? Mm-hmm. So car interest is now...
Yeah, it's like VLI, I think, something like that. It's 1098V.
Okay. So car interest is now tax deductible is what you're saying? ish?
It depends.
Putting you on the spot.
No, if it was considered assembled in America, it could be.
Okay.
Yes, it could be up to $10,000 of your car interest. And the list is quite long of cars that are actually assembled in America, even for foreign car companies. So that 1098 is going to have their VIN number on it. And I think it's going to tell them, I don't know if you're going to get one if your car wasn't assembled in America. I don't know if everyone's going to get one. These are the things we don't quite know yet.
Right.
But that form should tell me if it is a deductible, and then I can deduct it for you.
Okay.
And that's even if you don't itemize, which is really cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that would be like in addition to the standard deduction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that part of it's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
But that's only for vehicles that were purchased in 2025.
Yes. New
vehicles purchased in 2025. Yes. Okay. Well, that's cool. I had no idea about that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
No, but I guess, it's not my area of expertise, but now I know.
That, and then the child tax credit went up to $2,200 and is now indexed with inflation. So it's going to keep going up every year. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's per kid, right? And of course it's income dependent, I'm sure as well, right? On what you're eligible for.
Yes. I think the cutoff isn't until like 400,000. So that's pretty high. So, yeah.
And that is available even if you don't itemize as well. Is that true? Because it's a credit.
Yeah, that's a credit.
Deduction.
Yeah.
Nice. Any other big changes that we should be aware of?
I mean, the three other big ones were the no tax on tips, overtime, and then Social Security, which there's a lot of little caveats with all of those.
Those are big.
Yeah. So
no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security?
Yeah, but that's not the full picture. It's not as it seems sometimes and was advertised, especially the Social Security one. That I'm really not looking forward to because it has been sold as all Social Security is not taxable, and it's not true. It's actually, if you're over 65, it's $6,000 per person. So a married couple would be $12,000, not taxable.
So up to that much would be non-taxable.
Yes.
Okay.
The rest of it is taxable still.
Got it.
So I think a lot of people are under the impression that it's not. So it's not really fun when I have to be the one to inform people that what they have been hearing isn't quite accurate. But that's on top of their standard deduction, and they already get another bonus for being over 65. So I did the math a while ago. I think it's close to $45,000 of their income is not taxable if they're on Social Security over 65. So still a lot.
That is a lot.
But it's not no tax on Social Security. So.
So the broad statement, no tax on Social Security, is not correct.
No.
We don't want anybody to believe that that's the case.
Yeah. You can inform your relatives. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. So if you're over 65, there's some tax-free income available, basically.
Yeah. Quite a bit, actually. So, yeah. And then the tips and overtime. The overtime one especially, I think, was a little misleading too because, overtime pay is time and a half.
Right.
But the only thing that's not taxable is the halftime, not the regular pay, which kind of makes sense if you think about it.
Sure.
But it definitely was probably not what a lot of people were thinking. If they worked over 40 hours, none of that is taxable. That's not true.
Right. So if you're paid time and a half for overtime, the additional wages you earned would not be taxable.
Right.
Got it. Yeah, it's interesting what the headlines read or what people think they hear, right?
Yeah,
they're like, I don't have to pay tax on my overtime. Well,
and tax, I mean, everybody knows it's very complex, and we can usually not give you a straight answer. Is this taxable? I mean, it depends. I got to ask you a lot of questions to figure out because they always have all these little things. So yeah, it's not something you can just explain in one sentence. So it's hard to advertise that.
And tips are no longer taxed.
Yeah, but they're actually listing out the industries. So people might try to get creative and try to change their pay structure and things like that. You can't just say I'm a tipped employee and get tips if you're not a typical tip industry.
So who was the subject of the change when they created it? Who is supposed to benefit from that?
I haven't really looked over the list too detailed, but I mean, obviously service workers, restaurant employees, I think like salons and like gig drivers, we call them like Uber, Lyft and stuff like that. All of those industries obviously are covered, but there might be a few people who occasionally get tips that aren't really listed in that. So I'm not really sure how that's going to be handled, but yeah, it's kind of interesting to see.
Any idea what the incentive behind the change is? Like, why would that change have happened?
I'm not really sure. I think they assumed that it was really to benefit a lot of people who've been struggling the last couple of years because, ever since COVID, a lot of those recreational things kind of have struggled, restaurants and things. So I think that was kind of the motivation, but I think it was to appeal to Nevada and Las Vegas economy too, like the voters and things like that. I think that was a big incentive.
Interesting.
Keeps me busy.
Yeah, I mean, every single year, right? You have to get refreshed on what the tax code is and
I have required education credits I have to take every year. So I got to finish them for this year still. So
I got to finish mine too, because I'm not in tax, but I certainly have some CE I have to do every single year as well.
Yeah, so. Usually I go to a couple conferences every year, and that usually more than covers it. But this year I kind of didn't do as much of that, so now I got to pick some classes and get it done.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being here today. Let's say somebody's on the fence, right? Let's say somebody is, they're a self-preparer, right? Oh, I do TurboTax or I do H&R Block online or whatever the other online deals are, right? What's your best appeal to that person? And maybe that person is capable of doing their own taxes, but what would the benefit of working with somebody like yourself be for that person?
So how I explain it to people is you might get the same answer that I got. You might get the same number, and then they might look at me and say, well, why do I need you? and my answer to that is, well, you don't know why you got that number. You don't know that your kid's about to turn 17 and now they're only a $500 credit next year and you're not going to prepare for that in your withholding.
Right.
Or you don't know that when your wife starts working full time and you're combining the income that your withholding won't be enough and then you're going to end up owing. You don't know those things, the next steps. You don't know that when your kid goes to college, there's college credits and you can still claim them even if they don't live at home full time. Like, people don't know those things.
Right.
So they don't know the next thing. They don't know the question to ask because they don't know that they should be asking that. So I just feel like some people, that's great if you want to prepare your own tax return. I have no problem with that. I did it before I learned how to do it. And I think it was incredibly stupid of me to do because I had no idea what I was doing. And I didn't understand all of the things that I was doing. So you don't understand if you are a small business owner and you're doing it yourself and you're depreciating your car, you don't know the consequences of that, or, you don't know what you're doing and you don't have anyone to ask. You don't have anyone to explain it to you. But the people who do enjoy doing their own taxes or just think that they don't need to pay somebody, then that's perfectly fine. I find the best client for me is somebody who feels like they need some help. They have some kind of complicating situation that they understand that they need an accountant, and then I don't have to convince them that they do. So that makes my job easier.
Yeah, it turns out it's really hard to convince humans that they need something when they don't believe that they do. Right?
Especially because taxes are a necessary evil. Nobody likes paying taxes, and they don't like paying me to tell them how much to pay in taxes.
Right.
I mean, I understand it, and nobody enjoys this, but it is something that you have to do. And so why not have somebody who can help you pay as little as possible and understand what's going on and be a resource that as you have life changes that you can talk to and plan ahead, not be surprised.
Yeah, and then why not choose to work with somebody that you enjoy talking with as well, right?
Yeah.
I think we all get to have choices in our industry specifically, right? We can kind of choose who we want our partners to be, and humans in general, lots of choices, right?
Yeah.
And I would encourage people to work with people that they think that they have a relationship with, right? Obviously, our best clients are people that we know, like, and trust. And
communicating with your mortgage officer and your accountant is really important, because just having a conversation sometimes pulls up a question and I think to ask them, and I didn't know that they were in that situation. And so some people make really, I'm sure you see it too, really big mistakes because they didn't talk to an accountant,
Correct.
Really big.
Yeah.
And I find that frustrating because I wish they would have just come and asked me and I would have helped them and steered them in a better direction. But so I encourage people to talk to their accountant or talk to a accountant if they're thinking about doing something and they're not sure how it's going to affect things.
Yeah, and if somebody became your client, what should they expect from you on an annual basis?
I communicate with my clients. I explain what's on their tax return. I hear from my clients that their old accountant would just say, all right, this is what you owe, sign this, and we'll get it done. And they don't have any idea what was on their tax return. They didn't review it with them. So I make sure to either in-person review things, or my preferred way is to send a Loom video of me explaining their tax return and really going over. Yeah, I love doing that. And they really appreciate that because we go over everything. And so try my best to explain why and what's going on and how to improve or what to do next year. And just that I'm always encouraging them to communicate with me in the off season. I say I'm always available, and I do encourage that. Those off season meetings are way more valuable than the tax season one because you can't really change much after the year has ended.
Turns out. That's great. Well, we've really appreciated the partnership that we've had so far, and we'd love to be able to refer people to you.
I appreciate it.
Ideally, this conversation today is going to help drive some more referrals to you as well. So what's the best way for somebody to get in touch with you?
My website, probably Paramount Tax, Treasure Valley, or Boise, or just email kbrackett@paramount.tax.
Cool. We'll have all those on the screen here. Hopefully it can be clickable for folks to get in touch. Very super valuable information today. Thanks for being here. Your time is obviously very valuable, especially as you kind of count down the end of the calendar year and get into the crazy tax season. So we appreciate you making the time to get together with us.
Thank you for asking. I appreciate it.
You bet.